Hello? Perfect. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. The time is 6 p.m., and I hereby call this meeting, the Student Senate, to order. So we'll begin with roll call. When I read your name, please say here or present. Martinez. Here. Dopa. Here. Azan. Here. Rolls? No rolls. Chenoweth. Here. Everhart. Here. Prather. Kloppenstein. Hackbarth. Here. Atikos. Here. Reichert. Here. Mahoney. Here. Waisango. Here. Jones. Here. Cecil. Here. Wellman. Here. Momini. Here. Larson. Here. Pursley. Here. Schneider. All right, and so we're still on attendance technically, so I can just go back and say rolls. Senator Rolls? All right. So with that, we do have quorum for the evening. Now we'll see the Pledge of Allegiance led by Speaker Hackbarth. And so seeing no Senate program for this evening, we'll move into open forum. Open forum shall serve as an opportunity for students to speak about any issues relevant to the student body. If there's anyone here tonight for open forum, I would ask that you approach the podium at this time. Seeing none, we'll move into adopting this evening's agenda. Are there any amendments before we do so? Speaker Hackbarth.
Mr. Vice President, I move to make, oh my gosh, is our screen not working? Why did nobody say anything? One moment, please. Technical difficulties. Am I going crazy? One moment. I move, everybody has their laptops. I move the amendments as reflected on the screen, adding 2023-2-013F, funding men's hockey club, 2023-2-067A, Senate apportionment, and 2023-2-068A, election code, commission code revisions to the bottom of new business.
So it's been moved to add items 013, 067, and 068 to new business. Is there a second on that motion? Second. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any objections to making that amendment? Seeing no objections, it shall be made. So we're now back on adopting the agenda as a whole. Is there a motion to do so? It's been moved and seconded. Are there any objections to adopting the agenda as is? Seeing no objections, it shall be adopted. And so I'll move into approving the minutes of our previous meeting. And so just for clarity tonight, if we can in one swift motion approve the minutes from October 25th and November 8th, and then next week we'll see the November 1st minutes. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any objections to approving the minutes for October 25th and November 8th? Seeing no objection, they shall be approved. And so with that, we'll move into committee reports, starting with the Rules Committee led by Speaker Hackbarth.
All right, hello everybody. It's good to be back. Sorry I missed the past couple weeks, but I am back and slightly worse for wear with a head cold. But Rules Committee met at our standard time, 6:15 on Mondays in room 2210. We talked a lot about the investigation to the PR committee, just kind of making sure that those bylaws are being upheld. So far, we've been pretty well pleased with the response from the directors, so that has been going well. We also spoke on some resolutions, including one that we decided to table for a week until we speak with the senator a little bit more regarding it. We also did a lot of discussion on the Chapter 3 bylaw and Senate operating rules amendments that we will be seeing first read on tonight. And we discussed once again our Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of the operating rules of Senate order bylaws, which we will be seeing on second read tonight. And Senator Mahoney was kind enough to proofread that document to make sure all of our changes were in order. So we're very excited to be pushing that through. Next week, just looking forward for us, we will be seeing another bill on first read to remove Chapter 3 of the Senate Operating Rules of Order and place it back into the bylaws. We kick that off tonight with our first Chapter 3 bylaw bill, but I will talk a little bit more about that when we get to it. And that's all I got.
With that, are there any questions for rules? Seeing no questions, we'll move on to the Finance Committee with F.D. Hirsch.
Okay, let's do this. Hi, everyone. Finance Committee met yesterday at 5:15 in room 2210. Really good discussion. Still reviewing our PNC. One of the things I did was last week, I sent out an email to all the senators about finding a time to meet for our one-on-one meeting discussing student government finance. Did you not get? Well, if you didn't get one, talk to me, but I think for the most part, everyone else did, I guess. So let's do that. And then we updated our treasurers where we were sending emails to treasurers with our PNC to make sure that they had it because it's not currently on our website. So we've accomplished that. And then just reviewing our PNC, and we'll have it ready for you guys pretty soon.
With that, the floor is open for any questions for Finance. Seeing none, we'll move on to our PR Committee. Are you with Senator Everhart?
Hello, everyone. So as far as updates from Maddie, we were able to reach a goal of having individual posters and flyers for each committee ready for the expo last week. And if you saw them, I think they looked pretty great. They're something that we can continue to use over and over again. And the overall cost was about $800 for those, but again, a good investment. We also had the Thanksgiving potluck this past Sunday, so thank you to everybody who attended and participated. It was a very fun evening. And we are thinking about putting together a holiday party before break, so keep an eye out for an interest form. And then lastly, now that the expo is over, we're going to turn our full focus to all of our social media platforms and hopefully within next semester getting the podcast up and running.
Are there any questions or comments for PR? Seeing none, we'll move on to the IDEA Committee.
IDEA has a lot going on these past few weeks. We've been kind of charting out the multicultural town hall, which is going to happen on Monday the 27th in Pearson 2157 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I will be sending out a flyer in the teams if you guys want to attend. We're also going to be seating a new senator to IDEA tonight. And then I'd just like to say the expo was a great success for IDEA. We had 25 people who expressed interest and emails have been sent out. And we're just hoping to get back, for them to get back to us and hopefully see some new at-larges. And that's about it.
The floor is open for questions. Seeing none, we'll move on to student initiatives. Is there a designated representative from that committee here tonight? Seeing none, the same applies for local affairs. Senator Chenoweth.
Yeah, we didn't meet last week because of the expo, but me and Jeff, we had a little bit of conversation, just pretty much continuing on with the calendar, finding dates to put in there, and we'll be meeting tomorrow down in the office area as usual, 1 o'clock on Thursday, if anybody wants to come sit in, have any ideas for us for any new projects. So.
All right, are there any questions for local affairs? Seeing none, over then to sustainability.
Yep, that's me. Sorry. We have just one big announcement. I was also at the Finance Committee meeting last night to discuss with them about the Green Initiatives Fund application, and they had a lot of questions, and they approved it, which is very exciting. So we now have our first one of the semester, and basically what's going to be happening is we will be ordering the replacement of the 2 bike maintenance stations on campus, along with some other cool tricks and accessories with those. And we will, the shipping takes about 4-ish weeks. So, and we also, as part of the application, we included installation costs. So it should be in about 2-ish months, 1.5, 2-ish months. You will be hearing a lot of noise about me and excitement when that happens. That is our main announcement. Otherwise, our other subcommittees are chugging along and getting some stuff done. That's about it.
Are there any questions for sustainability? Seeing none, in the absence of both Director Spahn and tonight's Senator Kuehler, is there a designated representative for health and wellness? Seeing none, we'll move over to legislative ambassadors.
Hey everyone, my name's Madeline. Happy to be reporting on it tonight. So LA has been meeting every other Thursday for a few weeks now, and where we're at is we're finalizing our info sheets that we'll bring to the Capitol in the spring. So we're going to be here for open forum the Wednesday after Thanksgiving to show you the 3 sheets that we've made. So at that point in time would be good for you to say, okay, these are the facts I feel like you're missing. This is the information I wish you had on there. So come prepared to kind of talk about what it is that you're passionate to, not obviously the Wednesday after Thanksgiving. And then the other exciting thing is Jen, Quinn, and I are going to Cedar Falls tomorrow for the Board of Regents meeting. So that will be good to talk about the new DEI legislation. So yeah.
Are there any questions for legislative ambassadors? Seeing none, we'll move into the other category. This is an opportunity for anyone sitting on any university or city external committees to share any updates that they might have. So seeing none, we'll then move on to comments from the judicial branch.
Hey everyone, so Judicial Branch Supreme Court met on Sunday. We've now split into 2 subcommittees. I'm working on 2 different projects right now. So we're manning up our mock trial that we're going to be trying to have hopefully before the end of the semester. There was an interest form sent in the general chat a while ago, maybe a week or 2. So if any of you are interested in participating in that, please reach out to myself or Charles and we can get you involved. And then we're also working on a packet of information for student organizations. That way they kind of know what we can do for them and what powers and things they can have through us, through legal services.
With that, are there any questions for the court? Seeing no questions, and in the absence of an advisor this evening, we'll move into comments from the executive branch with Chief of Staff Dre.
All right, hello everybody. So Jen couldn't be here tonight, but she sent me some things to update you all on. The expo went great. Thanks to everybody who helped plan, organize, volunteer, and do anything for the expo. It was a team effort, and it wouldn't have happened without all of you, so thank you. Governmental Affairs Director Becker, Quinn, and Jen will be going to the Board of Regents tomorrow. It's going to be in Cedar Falls, and it will be a student leader breakfast. So they've been prepping with the other regent leaders to create the agenda. We're planning to mainly focus on discussing questions and concerns we all have related to the DEI recommendations they're going to be voting on. They include how we shouldn't be focused only on meeting the bare minimum requirements for accreditation, how DEI would not be allowed to be discussed in relation to hiring standards, and asking why we need more focus on free speech education when Iowa is nationally ranked already. Our secondary topic, if we have time for it, is to discuss campus safety, as the board recently received their annual report on the safety of each individual campus. We still need some more volunteers to join the Transportation Advisory Committee. The next committee meeting is Monday, November 27th from 1:30 to 3. At this meeting, they're going to be discussing various financial related subjects, so it's very important to have more student voices in the room. Jen is currently the only one going, so please, if you guys are interested, let us know. After the fall break, we'll be back at it, but I hope you enjoy your time off, and that's all we have. So.
All right, and with that, are there any questions for the executive branch? Senator Azan.
Quick question: how are we doing with on website? Because before getting to TCU, Jenna talked about probably 2 weeks, and we might have some updates on the website. So any update on the website?
Yeah, so Kush has been gone. She's the one in charge of recreating the website and making it what we want it to be. But she did say that after Thanksgiving break and hopefully before winter break begins, we'll have some form of it up and running. So that's something to look forward to in the next couple weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
With that, are there any further questions for the executive branch? Seeing none, we'll move into the business of this evening, starting with external matter 2023-2-012F, funding Winterfest, and in the absence of Senator Wellman.
Yeah, so this bill is simply funding Winterfest. They came to Finance Committee last night to ask for different things for money for Winterfest, obviously, and we passed it out favorably. So if you guys have any questions. Yeah, can we move that down?
Yeah, so it's been moved to move item 012F. Where would you like that moved? As a point of information, you could table it, and then we could just pick it back up at any point in time.
I move to table the bill.
It's been moved to table. Is that a second? Moved and seconded to table item 012F. Are there any objections to tabling this for now while we wait for the treasurer? Seeing no objections, it shall be tabled. And so we'll move on to general orders, starting with item 2023-2-064SD, seating a senator to the IDEA Committee with Senator Gopa.
I'd like to give my time to IDEA Director Raj Agarwal.
Yeah, so Tariwa actually expressed a lot of interest in IDEA, and he's been reaching out to me. We had a brief interview, and I think he's going to fit well at the IDEA Committee. So we just want him to be seated at IDEA.
The nominee may go up to the stage. Podium. Oops.
So the floor is yours.
I don't know if most of you know me quite a little bit. I don't know if you need to know anything more. I'm open to questions.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any objections to ending debate at this time? Seeing none, closing comments, Senator Gopa? Seeing no closing comments, UC has been called for. Are there any objections to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motion carries. And so with that, we'll move into item 2023-2-063SE, amendments to the operating rules of the Senate with, in the absence of Vice Speaker Kamstra, Speaker Hackbarth.
All right, I'm going to yield my time to Acting Vice Speaker Mahoney, since this has been a huge project of his since last year.
Holy crap, it's finally here. This is the first round of the rewrites. This is all to do with our Senate Rules of Order. The first chapter deals with all of the stuff we do in this room specifically. The second is all of our expectations for each other as senators and as at-larges as well on our committees. Much of the changes within this document compared to the old one are, wow, that's hideous. Yeah, that's look at the new one. Much of the changes are much of the changes to this document are grammatical and rewording so that they're far more clear and understandable. Our old ones are just not great, to be honest. There's also a lot of logistical and structural changes to make them more workable with our other rewrites that are happening. A couple of the substantive changes are more or less giving the speaker a lot more discretion in disciplinary matters. So instead of saying that certain things must happen, the speaker is allowed to have a little bit more discretion on final say on like issuing nonfeasances, for example. Also more flexibility with that system, so it's more clear. There shouldn't be, I don't think there's any new, I don't think there's anything too new in terms of responsibilities or anything like that for senators. Ultimately, there is a couple small, weird niche things that got patched up, some things specifically to do with how we interact with constituency councils, basically allowing Rules Committee a little more authority to help nominate if constituency councils are not functional, as well as giving constituency councils slightly more control over their senator if they have concerns about a senator, being able to remove said senator. If you look at the Senate Rules new, the linked one, there's a ton of amendments in there, which we'll get to adopting in a little bit.
So with that, the floor is open for any discussions or any questions, starting with Senator Azan.
Still, I cannot see the highlighted version, and there's no access in the joint document as well. So,
with that, is there any further discussion while we get that fixed?
so I'm trying to get access to the joint document, which is denied, and the Senate Rules new document is not highlighted. The changes with color highlighted green, blue, and strike through.
Honestly, because the changes are basically to every single line, the joint document just is pretty much unworkable. Like if you try to look at it, it just will hurt you physically.
But
Don't
still,
bother.
but I still prefer to see the changes so that we can compare before like voting.
If you look at the Senate Rules new document, those changes, like, for example, they are added in there. Like, I just highlighted a line up there. They are added in there.
Those are amendments.
Those are the amendments?
Yes.
Okay.
Senator Jones?
His is showing like a different document than the one that we all have pulled up, and I don't know why. It's like it's not the same as anything that the rest of us have pulled up, and I don't know why. It's doing it to him.
This agenda that you just put it there on the document. So.
Can we table this bill? Can we table this bill and go back to the previous bill we tabled while we figure this out?
So yeah, is that a motion?
Yes, that is a motion.
It's been moved and seconded to table this bill and then once again pick back up, I believe, item 012F, if I'm correct. Are there any objections to reconsidering item 12F at this time? Seeing none, we'll go back to funding Winterfest with Senator Wellman.
I yield my time to FD Hirsch.
Hi guys, super simple. If you want to go to the podium right there, thank you. Yeah. So there's after Winterfest is gonna go to the podium here. This is like really basic. They're just requesting money for decorations, food and beverage. We have to waive first read on this. There was a little miscommunication with our website and they weren't sure what the timeline looks like on bill funding. However, it's super straightforward. We sent it to Senate favorably.
So with that, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joshua. I'm a sophomore in ag engineering. Here with me today is our advisors, Teresa, and our activity team leader, Kenna. So here, I'll start with a little bit general with what's Winterfest. Winterfest is an annual event that happens about a week before prep week, that week, finals. It's this year will be on December 1st and Friday, and it's event meant to be free and have lots of fun for Iowa State students and AMS community. And from the past experience, we always have people from all over Iowa to come to this Winterfest. So Winterfest kind of became an iconic winter theme event happening at our state every year. And some of the activity includes chair massage, sand disco, workspace with collaborative workspace, and after dark, we'll have a stage performer, at like a well-known performer at the Great Hall, kind of like after dark, and tons of different activities. Also, we have food available. That's what we want to talk about, mainly want to talk about today, which is we'll partner with the ISU Dining. We'll have chili, cornbread, hot chocolate, and those kind of food. And then we are sitting at the budget sitting at $9,500. And we had 4 grants from Discovery AMS funding, and from Event Funding Board we got another 4,000. So we are still short on $1,500 for our food towards our food budget. And also, same time, because we want to let people know that they're walking to Memorial Union, around Memorial Union, they're walking to Winterfest, this event. So we want to have some decoration that's winter themed. So that $500 will be for the material fee for decoration, and we're not hiring anyone to do decoration for us. We just need this money to purchase materials, and then our members will do the decoration around Memorial Union to make sure people know what room, what kind of fun is in what room, and then enjoy this winter theme activities.
All right, and so with that, the floor is open for any questions or comments on this bill. It's been moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments, Senator Wellman.
It's a great bill.
All right, and so with that closing comments, seeing as this is a finance bill, Senator Azan. So unfortunately, yeah, we did close discussion and there weren't any objections on it. So I do apologize for that, Senator Azan. But at this point, we'll move into a roll call vote, seeing as this is a finance bill. And so when I read your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Martinez. Yes. Gopa. Yes. Azan. No. Rolls. Chenoweth. Yes. Everhart. Yes. Hackbarth. Yes. Atikos. Yes. Reichert. Yes. Mahoney. Yes. Moisango. Yes. Jones. Yes. Cecil. Yes. Wellman. Yes. Momini. Larson. Yes. Persley. Yes. And Schneider. And so with a vote of 17 to 1 to 0, the motion carries. And so with that, are we ready to once again consider our operating rules amendment? Yes. So is there a motion to reconsider that bill?
So moved.
And I'm going to take that as a second. So it's been moved and seconded to once again consider item 063SE. Are there any objections to once again considering this bill? Seeing no objections, we'll move back into the item with Speaker Hackbarth.
Okay, if everybody could open up the Senate Rules new document, you should now have revision power, so you should be able to see the edits that we are proposing. They should now be underlined and highlighted and like struck through. Can everybody see that? Okay, seeing there's no no's, I'm going to take that as a yes.
So with that, the floor is open, starting with Acting Vice Speaker Mahoney.
So before I formally propose all the amendments to this document, I'm just going to quickly explain. Most of them are just some grammatical things or some small stuff that Rules Committee, every one of these amendments is something that Rules Committee formally approved at some point or another. They just might not have gotten reflected in here properly. Essentially what they do is the two big substantive ones that actually matter amendment-wise are 2.5.6 and 2.5.7 near the bottom of the document. One of those allows a constituency council, if they dismiss or otherwise fire their senator from their council, it triggers an automatic removal bill here in Senate. This is to cover up a problem that existed about 4 years ago when I was the year before I became a senator. And 2.5.7, essentially, because senators and at-larges cannot be impeached under the Constitution, they get removed by a vote of Senate. 2.5.7 allows Senate to include a restriction on a removal bill that would bar somebody from holding further office. And the check against that is that the Supreme Court can review all Senate legislation anyways. So it basically allows us to impeach a member of Senate, or have the outcome of impeaching a member of Senate if we so choose as a Senate. Those are the two formal ones that actually matter. The rest of them are just fixing some things that got missed, like the ability to amend them. Forgot an entire chapter there on accident. With that, I move all the amendments reflected on screen.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the amendments as reflected on screen. Is there any objection to adopting these amendments? Seeing no objection, they shall be adopted. And we're now back on the motion as a whole. Floor is still open for any questions or comments on the bill. It's been moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments with Speaker Hackbarth. Who's yielding to Acting Vice Speaker Mahoney?
I don't really have any. This is the first one. Chapter 3 is coming next week. There's a new chapter already written. Chapter 4 will be soon, so on and so forth. We're finally rolling these out, and it's going to be a process. We'll see a lot of these big rewrites as we keep going through it.
So with that, we'll move into a vote on this item. Seeing no UC, we'll do a... All right, UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objection, the motion carries. Congratulations. So with that, we went a little bit out of order, but we've completed our external matters for this evening, and so we'll move into new business. As a reminder, we can ask questions of intent, yes or no, for new business items. So we'll start with item 2023-2-013F, funding the men's hockey club with Senator Wellman. Oh. And we'll get that one fixed too.
The link is in the comments. There's a comment box, and you can go there. All right, so this bill is simply a bill for funding men's hockey club. As you guys can see, this will also go back through Finance Committee, but this is just a standard bill. Look at it. If you have any questions, ask me, and with that, I will take any questions.
Floor is open for questions of intent, starting with Acting Vice Speaker Mahoney.
Is the intention that this come from special projects rather than Senate discretionary?
I yield to FD Hirsch.
Yeah, that was the intention. They weren't able to submit a budget because they weren't an organization.
Is that a yes, FD Hirsch?
Yeah, that is a yes.
All right. The floor is open for any other questions of intent. Seeing none, we'll see this bill next week, and we'll move on to item 2023-2-066Y, replacing Chapter 3 of the bylaws with Speaker Hackbarth.
All right, so how it currently sits is that Chapter 3 of the operating rules of Senate regard committees. And seeing as committees are a joint effort between the judicial branch, the executive branch, and Senate, we feel that it is no longer appropriate for those to be sitting solely in the operating rules of Senate. So this bill here is asking that we reinstate Chapter 3 into the bylaws so that it is then applicable to all branches. And with that, I'm going to yield the rest of my time to Acting Vice Speaker Mahoney.
So the biggest thing please implore you to look at, if you are sitting on a committee, please look at the section that has to do with your committee or committees, and look at the first section and the third section of each one of those that talks about the purpose of the committee and the responsibility of the committees. A lot of these had no real language about it. You guys don't have access, do you? Okay. Once she fixes that, please take a look at it over the next week. I had to invent a lot of language about what the purpose and responsibility of each committee is, so I want to make sure people on those committees are in approval of them. So please, please, please look at the section on your specific committee. It should be good, though.
It should be fixed right now. That's fine. We're good.
So just for the good of the body, I'm also having issues clicking on the link, but if you click on the link in the comment, I'm having success with that. I don't know if that's working for people. Okay. All right, and so with that, I believe that was the end of your opening. All right, so the floor is open for any questions of intent, starting with Senator Azan. We were so close. Is there anyone else that's having issues viewing this legislation before we continue? Seeing nobody, we're open for any other questions of intent. So seeing no questions of intent, we'll see this bill next week, and we'll move on to item 2023-2-067, Senate apportionment with Speaker Hackbarth.
All right, Election Commissioner Clayton, if you would like to approach the podium. All right, so our constituency council seats are determined by our fall enrollment in our respective colleges and in our residence councils. It is the job of the Election Commission to recommend and track those numbers and provide us with the apportionment as necessary. And with that, Election Commissioner Clayton, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shane Clayton. Not a lot of new people here, so hi. Can everyone see it? Love that.
So I think while we're getting that set up, you still have a privilege if you'd like to speak.
Okay, cool. Basically, I think we kept almost everything the same as we did last year. I believe enrollment actually went down, but I think it was United Residents off campus, so UROC members went up. However, we kind of did a cutoff at like 2.3 in the proportion column. So if you look at vet, so veterinary medicine, they only had 0.35, but we can't very well leave them out, so we gave them a seat. And then, but then if you look at like business, they had 2.4. We originally had them at 3 seats, but when we went back and redid it, we had to take one off just so that there weren't 39 seats instead of 36. And then same thing for UROC, 10.8. Had we given them an extra seat, it would have been a different number, which we didn't want, so we... Oh wait, we did give them that seat. Never mind, we did give them that seat. Sorry, my bad. That's all I have.
All right, and so with that, the floor is open for any questions of intent. Acting Vice Speaker Mahoney.
So from the current apportionment this year, it looks like the only change is in adding one extra seat to residence hall senators?
Yes.
Are there any other further questions of intent? Seeing none, we'll see this item next week, and right now we'll move on to 2023-2-068. A, the Election Commission Code Review, with Speaker Hackbarth.
Can everybody scroll to the bottom of the document and check the edits to the 2024 election code? Can everybody see it? No. Okay. Well, the good thing is I typed all of the changes on this bill. So the election code is basically what governs how we run our elections, and that is handled by the Election Commission. And with that, I will yield to our election commissioner.
Once again, I would just like to say a huge thank you to the commission. I am really thankful that they put in so much effort to this document. Other than that, as Speaker Hackbarth said, this document is us outlining the rules in which not only executive and senatorial slates have to abide by, but also the commission has to abide by on top of the Constitution. I'm not going to read all of the changes. Most of the changes were either taking out things that had to do with COVID, because we, as a commission, decided that we did not need that in the code anymore. We reworded some things, and many definitions were put in just for clarification.
All right, and so with that, the floor is open for any questions of intent. Seeing none, thank you, and we'll see this bill again for a vote next week. So having completed the business for this evening, we're now into closing announcements. Are there any general closing announcements for the good of the body? Senator Cecil.
So I am the president of UROC, and we're trying to actually matter this year. So in the MIS, I added a column that says your residency, and if you put off campus, I'm going to add you as a member, so you can actually receive emails from the constituency council that represents your housing. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome.
All right, Director Miller.
Hi, everyone. Over the weekend, I believe it was over the weekend, Governor Kim Reynolds signed a proclamation that made today, November 15th, Iowa Recycles Day. This is just pretty cool that she did that. And yeah, so everyone make sure you know how to recycle, because Iowa recycles.
All right, and so with that, are there any other general closing announcements? Seeing none, I'll share my 2 cents. Firstly, I would like to thank everybody who helped with the expo. That was said earlier. That was a tremendous thing that we accomplished, and I appreciate the work from each and every one of you. I was going to mention Board of Regents, which has already been touched on. That's a good opportunity we have tomorrow to get a lot of our questions answered. Beyond that, I would really encourage you to read all of these new business items. It's great when we all come with an understanding of what these are, so that way we can have a healthy debate on them. And then lastly, as a quick thing, I would just say we're still looking for more asset volunteers. We're starting to get into the season where asset is something we're actually engaging with. So for those of you who don't remember what asset is, it's a collaboration between us, the city, the county, and United Way to fund important social services in our community in Ames and Story County that benefit students. And so we're looking for 2 more people. If that interests you, please shoot me an email, a message, or let's talk after the meeting. And so with that, I would move over to Acting Vice Speaker Mahoney.
2 things. One, like I've said and reiterated multiple times, just one more time, if you have any questions about these bylaw bills as they're coming down, please feel free to reach out to me. I've written most of it, and I've gotten pretty good at explaining what the heck's happening. I didn't think I'd ever be a bylaw expert, but here we are 3 years later. On a more serious note, I just want to kind of generally remind everyone, this is a group effort that we all do here. There's no I, there's no me, there's no my, there's no mine. What we do is serve students, and it's we and us that do that. So it's disappointing to hear when people are trying to take sole credit for things that were a joint group effort. And I just kind of want to generally remind people of the importance of working as a team and recognizing the effort that all of us put in to events and initiatives and projects and all that good jazz.
Okay. I have not fun news. Non-feasances are going to be issued on Friday before break. A non-feasance is a failure to perform the duty that is delineated in the bylaws or the Constitution pertaining to your role. For senators, that could be missing office hours, that could be an unexcused absence, anything along those lines. Those will be going out Fridays, including dates and reasoning. So if you missed an office hour, say the week of Halloween, you'll receive an email from me saying, hey, you missed this office hour. I need you to explain why, what happened. If you provide a solid enough reasoning, maybe you were out of town for a family emergency, anything along those lines, that non-feasance will be stricken from your record. If it's not a good reasoning, there may be a rules investigation if you have 2 non-feasances. But don't panic, because a lot of the times we can sort this out like adults and everything is hunky-dory. More sad news. As many of you probably know, I am graduating in December. Assuming that I don't severely mess up in the next couple weeks, my last session or my last meeting with all of you will be the week after Thanksgiving. However, you are always free to reach out to me, ask me questions about Senate. I might be gone, but I'm not dead. But it sounds like Senator Mahoney is about to be. So you are more than welcome to reach out to me in those last couple weeks. I'm still going to be, for a lack of a better term, your speaker until the end of this year. If you are interested in running for Senate leadership at any point in time during your time here, please send me an email at stugov.iastate.edu. We can set up a meeting. I would love to chat. There's a lot of really great senators in this room. Even if you are new to this organization, we would love to see you in a leadership position. And lastly, I have to echo what Vice President Margret said. Please read the items of new business. We have a lot of very heavy bylaw bills. We have a lot of very heavy changes to our governing documents, and it's going to make us stronger as an organization if we understand what is going on there. And with that, motion to adjourn. Go Cyclones.
That we are adjourned.